One issue in Malaysia that generates a lot of interest overseas is the new economic policy. And a lot of people, there's been a lot of discussion about whether it's in need of reform or outdated, whether all of it or certain parts of it should be changed. And I wonder if you can update us on what your view is of that debate and whether you have any plans going forward to reform the NEP and what those might be.
You would have noticed that our policy today is much more inclusive and needs-based. For example, when we decided we should help a lower income group, it was not based on race. It was based on needs. So everyone whose income, family income, household income, 3,000 and below gets the 500 ringgit. And I've seen, when I go down to the ground, I've seen, in some cases, old people, Malays, Chinese, Indians, all coming up. And because they are the ones who deserve to be helped. So we are moving away from, sort of ethnically based kind of policies. But we also recognize there is a need to have a balanced development, to be ethnically balanced. Because in the long term, political stability is important for the country. You cannot have disparities of income based on ethnic lines, because that, breeds trouble. This point was the theme of Amy Chua's book, World on Fire. And I think most of you would have read that book, and she was arguing on that premise. And we believe that Malaysia should be balanced in terms of sharing the country's wealth. And we're taking that. And it's not only just about Bumiputra, but also the minority groups. And as you know, I've given a lot of importance also to the Malaysian Indians, to the Orang Aslis and so forth, because everybody who are somewhat disadvantaged must also be helped. So our policy now is, I think, more inclusive and more fairer than ever before, which is, I think, very progressive step forward. But we have not given up the affirmative actions. Some of the affirmative programs are still necessary, and they will continue to be in place, but they will be implemented in a way that will not be seen as rewarding those who shouldn't be rewarded or don't deserve to be rewarded. Even when we help Bumiputras, for example, I'm saying that we should help them on the basis of merit. The ones who really deserve are the ones who should be helped.
Given today's scenario, is two-thirds majority still very crucial to Barisan Nasional? And what will be comfortable with a majority?
Modern democracy, most prime ministers would be over the moon if he or she were to get a comfortable, simple majority. And I think if I ask Mr. David Cameron when he comes to visit Malaysia next month, I'm sure he would say, well, I'd be delighted if I can get an overall majority for the Conservatives. I'm sure that will be his response. And I think realistically in Malaysia context, it's becoming more and more challenging to get a two-thirds. And it's also equally challenging in the context of Singapore as well, to get a two-thirds. But we will strive our best to get the two-thirds, and we will work hard towards it. For example, I've never worked harder than before in my life. My work schedule now is punishing. Saturday I had 5-6 programs in Perak. Yesterday I had 4 programs in Selangor, and that was a Sunday, okay? It's not that Monday I get a day off. And I have to meet you guys as well, But it's something that you have to face. It's a different environment now. Social media at work, you don't have monopoly over information as you used to have. People are more educated, information flows, free flow information. So you've got to expect it's going to be a very different environment. It's a target that we would love to have for two-thirds. I would be lying to you if I didn't want a two-thirds. Yes, I do want two-thirds, but I also know that it's going to be much more challenging than ever before. What is important is to have stable, reasonably strong government, whatever that means. It could be two-thirds, it could be a very comfortable, simple majority, but we do not want a hung parliament or something that would spell political uncertainty for Malaysia. And that's the worst possible outcome you could have. If there is no decisive result in the elections, it could spell trouble for Malaysia.